Hi everyone, Eric Lewis here with GetZone.com. Today we've got an exciting new product, and this is the ShapeShift Modular Holster System by Iwb Holsters. And one of the neat things about this setup is you're going to get everything right out of the box that you're going to need to adapt to multiple different holster arrangements depending on what you prefer. Anything from inside the waistband to outside the waistband. You've got a paddle option. So we're going to go through a few of the features on this and explain how this is so adaptive and innovative to fit your everyday carry need. When you go to aliengearholsters.com and select the ShapeShift Core package, you have a ton of options through their drop-down menu. You can pick if you're right or left-hand draw. You can also pick your firearm. So these are not just generic run-of-the-mill one-size-fits-most type of holsters. These are actually going to be firearm specific. So my EDC firearm, go ahead and show clear on that. My EDC pistol is an XDS first generation 45 ACP. So you select that from the drop-down menu, you pick the firearm manufacturer and the model of your firearm, and the holster system that you get is made specifically for your gun. So everything fits perfect. It's got really tight tolerances. You don't have to worry about things shifting and sliding and moving, especially if you're trying to conceal carry and remain as discreet as possible with your gun. As far as the materials that they actually use a polymer material versus like the more traditional Kydex that you see on a custom fitted holster. The nice thing about that is it's a little bit more heat and abrasion resistant, so it's going to be a lot longer lasting. It's going to hold up and be a lot tougher product overall. So right out of the package, one of the first things that jumps out at you is just the way that everything is organized and arranged. It makes it really easy to see which piece goes where. They've also got detailed instructions on how to assemble whichever particular layout you'd want. The biggest thing and one of the more comfortable options in terms of inside the waistband or Iwb carry is just going to be their 4.0 Iwb holster here. So a few things about it. It's got a structured slim steel core inside that's wrapped by ballistic nylon. On the backside, you've got perforated neoprene, so it helps it breathe, especially on the hot summer days. You know, it can form a lot of sweat back there when the gun's compressed against your body. It's got your belt clips here so that when it's inside of your waistband, it has retention on your belt. So you'd want to wear a sturdy belt, but it's going to hold it steady so that if you did have to draw, you're not going to end up yanking your whole holster out. Another nice thing about this particular system is you can see this little key slot here. You take one of these little twist lock tabs, get one of these off real quick, and you can tighten or loosen the amount of retention that that's going to have on your trigger guard. So when you get it out of the box, it may be a little bit looser than you like. You can tighten that down so that you don't have to worry about your firearm dropping out of the holster. I adjusted this in advance to get it exactly how I would want it, but overall the retention of it's nice, so you don't have to worry about if you're bending over or something in a store or somewhere where you're trying to remain discreet, your firearm falling out onto the ground. It's the last thing that you want when you're trying to conceal carry. Another thing that I really like on the design of this Iwb holster is that it's attached at a single point. So our hips are rounded by nature, and whenever it's affixed on both sides, it can make it very uncomfortable and make a really flat, abrupt surface pressing against your hip or love handle, whatever you've got back there. And with the ability for it to bend like that, it's just a lot more comfortable. It also makes it a lot easier to access your firearm if you needed to draw quickly. So for the next configuration, we're going to go with one of my favorites, and that's going to be the outside waistband paddle holster configuration. So I'm going to take this apart real quick so that you can see how simple it is to adjust and rearrange exactly how you want it to be. Whoop. Put these twist locks back on there. And the nice thing is since you're using that same outer cover, the trigger retention that you adjusted and set how you wanted it before is exactly the same. So I've already gotten this ready to go. Here's the paddle holster itself. It has grooves in it so that you can adjust the angle to your liking. And we've also installed the optional thumb release on here, which just gives you an extra little bit added security. So once your pistol's in there, it is fully locked in. It's not coming out. That way, if you were in an open carry state or something like that, and someone were to reach for your firearm, they're not going to be able to get that unless you fully depress that. So it's just a little bit added security, a little bit extra safety. And then, like I said, you have that on wherever you'd like it. Some people like it on the side. I personally like it a little bit further back. It's much more comfortable. And they would be canted slightly forward just like that to make it easily accessible for the draw. And you would just quick depress on the thumb and you're ready to go. So that's the second configuration. And you saw how simple that was to rearrange. So let's go into the next one here. So now what I'm assembling is the appendix carry. So you've got to put your inner trigger guard on. Just slides in and it's grooved. It's pretty simple to see how it operates. From there, it lays on top of these little tabs. And on this particular one, rather than with the inside waistband concealed carry holster where you have this that slides over to secure it, it actually has your belt clip on there. So that slides over in its place. That's going to lock everything in. And as an additional security measure here for keeping it solid, you've got your twist locks. And that's it. Your inside waistband appendix carry holster is ready to go. So obviously you'd have your shirt untucked, go straight in. And so just like the others, your retention should already be set to your liking. But if you want to change it a little bit for this particular style of carry, and I don't think I mentioned before, you don't need any tools for this assembly for the most part. There are a couple of accessories that you might want to add or take off, like your thumb release can be removed if you'd prefer not to use it. But something like if you were in a situation where maybe you're at the range and you just didn't like your trigger retention, take one of your little twist lock tabs. It's got a little neck on the end of it, if you want to call it that, and you can that's what you use for the tool. That's how you adjust it. So everything's right there for you. Easy to put together, easy to take apart, and easy to adjust to your liking. This thermoelastic backing here is a rubberized grip. It's very textured, so it grips the gun very well. Just gives you a little bit added security. Keeps the gun rock solid when you're carrying appendix inside the waistband. So as I said, that's going to be your appendix holster. I'm going to go ahead and start taking this apart, and we're going to move to the last variation, which is the outside waistband slide holster. So for the outside the waistband slide holster, this is the one out of the four that you'd actually need a tool for, which is in the box. It's just a simple Allen or hex key wrench. You have to attach this for your belt to be able to go through on that inner trigger guard. So I'm going to get this put on there really quickly. All right, so now that we've got that assembled, it's going to go together just like we showed you before. Just line up these little slides. Slides right on. And it actually uses the same holster base as your appendix carry. So just go through the motions on it. And instead of using this little slide attachment that has the belt clip, it's going to actually be a fully slide base for your belt to actually thread through. So that's going to slide up on there to secure everything. Place your twist locks. Good to go. So you'll be able to thread it through your belt, get it exactly how you want it. And the nice thing about that is if it's not exactly where you want, you do have the ability to, in the name, slide it. So those are the four variations. One really neat accessory that I personally like a lot. We went through the paddle holster, showed you how that was laid out. They also give you this plate that you can attach to the bottom side of your desk or underneath, maybe on the lower part of the dash of your car, under the steering wheel, something like that. So that when you remove it from your paddle holster, which is just a quick disconnect button there, then you can put it up under your desk at work or have it in a discreet location where if something were to happen and you needed to defend yourself quickly, you had it readily accessible and good to go. And it's also nice just transitioning back to your paddle holster. So those are the four variants of the ShapeShift Modular Holster System core set. That's made by Alien Gear Holsters. And a few more things that I'd like to touch on. Maybe you're a little bit skeptical, maybe this looks complex, something like that. One thing you can count on from Alien Gear Holsters, it's made in the USA. They have a forever warranty, so anything happens to it, if it breaks, they'll either repair or replace it for you. And they've even got a 30-day test drive policy. So if you order this, you use it for a month and you decide it's just not the most comfortable holster you've ever used or you don't like it for any reason, you give them a call and they'll buy it right back from you. So check them out, aliengearholsters.com. Again, this is Eric with GetZone.com with the ShapeShift Modular Holster System.